Wabarakatuh. Welcome to your fortnightly Wednesday Good News Show with myself, Imran Haji, and my dear brother, Numayar Ghazi. We're back again. Numayar, you got anything to say to introduce yourself?
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody. Thank you for listening. Whoever's listening to us out there in the vast space of radio waves of 1575 AM, or if you listen to us on any of the social media, which you can do, of course, on Facebook, YouTube, stream, live stream, or if you listen to us today, tomorrow, any other time, welcome to the show. It's a good news show, and Imran has brought some good people with him. Imran, you care to introduce us to the guests that we have today?
Yeah, so if you tuned in last week, you know that we mentioned a really sort of local charity here called Neighbours in Paradise. So we've got two of the members of the team here today. We got my brother actually, Riaz, and we got also my brother actually, Azad. We got these two here. So do you want to say anything? Do you want to say hello?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am the designer at Neighbours in Paradise. So we just come here today because Brother Imran has told me over the weeks, please make sure you make an appearance. So here I am today.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. It's good. No, it's good to put a face to the name that we said. And there's another face here who's not saying anything right now, so let's say hello.
Assalamu alaikum, people listening. My name is Azad. I'm also another brother, part of the Neighbours in Paradise, and I do all the videography side of stuff and help towards designing and production and everything as well. And there's a few other brothers that couldn't make it, and they all play a vital role inside Neighbours in Paradise as well. I'll let Brother Imran carry on.
Actually, let me jump in. The reason the other brothers aren't here would be breaking COVID Rule 19 or whatever. Sorry, what rule what did I just say?
It's six now, isn't it? Or
COVID Rule 16. Sorry, shouldn't be loud.
I think it's 6 people in a room now. Is it? I don't know what that.
These boys are all one family, so I'm staying 2 meters away from them still. Okay, no jokes and so on, but that's it. No, it's lovely to have you young guys here. I feel really elderly today. Any sage advice you want me to give you guys? You know, at my old wise age? No, stop before you even think it. Right, listen, I want to kick off with one good news. All right? Imran, before I tell you my good news that I read, you know, we read stories online, sometimes on the news, sometimes in magazines and so on. Wherever we can find good news, we try to share it with our listeners and so on. So I want to ask you, where did you get engaged? What was your very short? I'm going to give you 3. I will always give you like 2 minutes to tell me. How did you get engaged?
How did I get engaged? That is a weird question. So obviously I met my wife when I was at college. So
Does she have a name?
Yeah, Mariam. So you've met. I've been on holiday. We've been to Palestine together. So you definitely know who she is. So yeah, I met my wife Mariam when I was at college. Kind of like we were just. We were like together-ish, and then we decided to go to university together, and we just wanted to make things halal and proper. So
how did you propose to her?
So I don't know, it was really weird. It just kind of naturally happened. But she said, "Oh, do you want to speak to my dad?" And I was like, "Yeah, fine, I'll speak to your dad." And then I went there, and he was gonna he wasn't very happy because. Yeah, he's a bit old school, but yeah, he wasn't very happy at the time. But after he met me, obviously, I said what I had to say, and alhamdulillah, it just kind of worked out. We had a very small nikah just at home.
MashaAllah. So yeah. let me take you back. So when you proposed to her and so on, I know, look, it's not about the Islamic side of things. I'm just saying, it's just a general thing. Did you give her a ring for engagement? Did you give her a hadiyah for engagement or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I gave what little I had. So I was only like 19 at the time. So
oh, wow, mashallah.
Very, very
well
young.
done.
So yeah, I got married when I was like 19, 20 years old. And we've been married now. I'm 33. So it's going to be like 13 years, which is insane when you think about it. So yeah, at the time I didn't have much at the time. So I gave what little I had. We got some money. I got some money together, bought a ring and everything. But it was very small and very like. You know, we wanted to kind of build a life together, and it was all about like saving money to go to university and make something.
That's all the good news side of it. But you know that ring that you bought on the journey to seeing her or giving it to her or to her dad. I don't know who you gave it to. We'll cover that story later. Her, yeah. Did you just shove it in your pocket, or did you shove it in the glove compartment, or was it in your rucksack when you rode out to the?
Well, it's really weird. I had a philosophy exam on the day. In the morning, so I kind of like left it with a teacher at Regent College. I was like, "Can you look after this for me in the morning while I do my exam?" So I had like flowers, I had obviously the ring and everything, and then obviously I visited after, and then on the way it was just kind of like, where did I keep it? I think I just kept it in my rucksack, just safe as possible, really. Just kept it in my rucksack, and then got to.
So were you stressed about it? Were you scared that you might lose it? The classical TV thing. Oh no, where's the ring?
I was actually okay, to be fair. I mean, it's kind of, so you know me, right? I'm not a very material person, so I was like, you know, it's cool, isn't it? But it was more about obviously the sentiment and the idea behind it. And I know Mariam, she would understand if something did happen. So alhamdulillah, I'm blessed that way that she's very understanding.
Okay, now imagine, you bought, this ring with your love and your money and everything you've saved up. It's a diamond, gold, whatever, it's got a lot of sentimental value. And you go to propose to your good lady.
Yep.
And you take her out to, maybe, say, the Lake District or somewhere. I'm just saying as a place, just to place you somewhere. It's really nice and so on. And as you go to propose to her, the ring somehow flies from your hand, ends up in the lake.
Oh, no.
How would you have felt at that time?
I'd be devastated.
I thought you said you're not materialistic.
No, I'd be devastated just on the whole, like, if you said I spent a lot of money on it and stuff, yeah I would be devastated. But because I'm not materialistic, I didn't go that far, did I? So that's it.
Well, anyway, the first story, sorry, it took me a long way to bring it down.
Yeah, sorry.
Is about a couple who actually did exactly that, during lockdown. Sorry, in between the lockdown, when we had a bit of time when he could go out and so on. And he proposed to her and so on, and the ring went flying. And Lake District's got big, massive lakes, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lake Windermere being one of the biggest and the deepest, it landed in there.
Wow.
Obviously, they were devastated. But luckily, I did not know this. There are some free divers, as in like they put the whole mask on, the tank on and so on. These guys volunteer to go and dive and find things. And this one particular guy, he dived for 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, he searched with the metal detector and everything, and he found the ring.
Wow, so
I mean, when I was first reading the story, I go, it's one of those devastating stories. They're going to say, they never found the ring. So he gave her a coke ring or, a ring made out of a Kit Kat wrapper or something like that, okay? But yeah, this is good news that they found the ring and they got married. I don't know if it's happy ever after or not, but that brings me swiftly onto these two young guys here. I did ask them before we started the show, are they married? They're young, but they're not no 15-year-old chickens or anything like that, little young chicks or anything, roosters, so I should call them. What's holding you up? Where's the good news? Where's my invitation to a wedding?
It's keeping the subway right now, waiting for the right time.
MashaAllah.
Just keeping the patience.
Good answer, but search. If you don't search, you won't find, by the way. Inshallah, you will.
It's not easy, right, this day and age. You don't know where to go, what to do, so... Yeah, keeping the server is good. Obviously, but like Numayar said, you got to search. And they're thinking, why is he invited us on if they're going to just pressure us into marriage?
No. Look, it's always a pleasure, especially this young Riaz. I spent a bit of time when I first met him and so on. And I love what you guys are doing. We use the word charity. I think we should even just take the word charity out of what they do. Neighbors in Paradise, to me, I've fallen in love with the whole tag, Neighbors in Paradise. May I be a neighbor in paradise? The whole concept of it is that, all brothers and sisters should be like that. And of course, we want to be neighbors with our Sahabas. We want to be neighbors with our Prophet ﷺ. So I love that concept. And I love what you guys do, which is, guys, just give us a little shout. What do you do?
So we originally, the name we was going to call the charity was Neighbors in Jannah. And then amongst the brothers in the group chat, we were saying it's very narrowed down to just Islam, and we want everyone to understand it. So then we changed the name to Neighbors in Paradise, because we also want to help all sorts of people, even down to like extinct animals as well in the future. So anything that's happening in the world that touches us, we really want to create a design on that and try our hardest to raise money and help that crisis happening in that country or wherever it is in the world.
So it's awareness.
And we're creating awareness through fashion. That's
okay.
the...
Nice. I like the work that you're doing, and hopefully you carry on doing it and so on. I know you've had a lot of requests. What's the oddest request? What's the most strange, far out one that you've had where people said, can you do something about this project or that project? Or are they all just down to earth?
So far, they're just really down to earth, because we've only been doing it for about 6 weeks. So our next project will be helping the farmers in Punjab, in India.
Nice, okay.
So two of my Punjabi friends have approached me and asked me if we can make a design on that. And straight away, I agreed to it. It's definitely something I wanted to do. So
nice. I look forward to that. But can I just put you under the spotlight and say, where's my T-shirt?
That is a good question.
We do have a little restock coming today at 10 o'clock, so
All right, look forward
Just
to
give
it.
me your address after this and I'll come to your house.
No worries, bro. So, man, moving swiftly on, before I feel more embarrassed for asking a younger brother for my T-shirt and so on. There's a big story behind it, don't worry. So, man, what good news have you got for me?
So I've got a cool, really cool one. The thing about good news is that it's really weirdly hard to find, and obviously the reason why is that obviously when you go on BBC, you just want all the the big hitting, hard hitting stories and stuff, and people just want to focus on those, and they get the most clicks, which is why it's really hard to find good news. So I was perusing London websites, so local London newspapers, and I found a really good one. It's about a West London rail worker who saved 29 people from taking their own lives through the power of talking. So this is a young man called Rizwan Javed. He's 30 years old from East London, and he works for MTR Elizabeth Line at the Ealing Broadway station. And obviously, I don't know anyone who's lived in London or who's been around the train stations a lot. It is a common occurrence that people will want to jump onto the tracks. Like, it's a very easy way out. And it can be it is a devastating thing. I remember when I was at school, when I was really young, I used to go to school in London, and one of the kids just jumped onto the track. Like, he wasn't trying to commit suicide or anything, but he did that, and obviously, fatal consequences could happen. Alhamdulillah, he was fine, but yeah, so he's so this young man, Rizwan Javed, he's completed a Samaritan's suicidal course in 2015, and what he's done is not just complete the course, he's actually put it into action. So when he sees people or symbol or signs of people going to sort of the wrong end and doing things which they shouldn't be, he steps in, talks to them, and he's actually been credited by these 29 people for saving their lives. So alhamdulillah, I thought it was amazing, an amazing sort of feat by the young man, and yeah, he's really props to him. And I think stuff that should be shared a bit more widely. So I shared it on my Facebook and stuff, and obviously shared it with yourselves. But I think that was really cool. And if you want to read about him, he's there. He talks about his experiences and what he does, and and all that, and how he kind of copes with the situation, because it is kind of it's a lot to take on, right? Just say you fail one day, then it's gonna be way on him.
Yeah, no. To me, what stood out when he showed me the story was how young this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
I initially expected some elderly guy who's well and truly experienced in dealing with life's different stories and things like that. But yeah, mental health is obviously a very big thing, and we do need to take this very, very seriously. It affects everybody. It's not just a non-Asian, non-Muslim thing. And on top of that, we know affects men quite a lot, quite heavily. It's like a taboo. I mean, you guys are young. I'm sure hopefully you've not come across anyone who has gone through this and so on, but you do know about it, don't you, Riaz?
Yeah, fully aware of these kind of things happening.
Yeah.
And especially with our age and generation now, it's very hard to keep your mental right. So these are the kind of things we need to work on.
Yeah, and that's good. So raising this is just a simple way of raising awareness. First and foremost, we should give a shout out to the young man. His name is?
Rizwan Javed.
Rizwan Javed.
Just 30 years old, yeah.
30, and if anybody's travelling through his station and so on, give him a wave, give him a fist bump, or if you've got gloves on, you can shake his hand. But, do give recognition where it's due, because it's amazing. Talking people out of a simple fight is difficult enough. If someone gets heated up and so on, and sometimes I deal with those kind of situations when I go camping with my mates, that is. Okay, but talking people out of wanting to take their own life and so on. I can only imagine how difficult that is, but he's done it with over almost 30 people at such a young thing. So yes, he does deserve this recognition, very much so. I hope, I hope that it is actually fully publicized and recognized. I'm going to flip it a little bit. When you hear a story about terrorism or something violent that's happening in the UK, I don't know about you guys. My first thought is, please don't let it be a Muhammad or a Ahmed or something like this, okay?
Yeah, same. Always, definitely.
In my heart sinks. I pray that it's not from our Muslim community, because this Muslim community, Islam is about saving life. You've all heard the saying, saving one life in Islam is like saving the whole of humanity.
Yep.
Yeah. So this guy's done it 29 times over. He's saved humanity 29 times over. So his reward is there. Hey, nicely leads on to Neighbours in Paradise. Huh? What do you think, guys?
Inshallah, could be neighbours with Rizwan here.
Yeah, definitely.
So, alhamdulillah, it's really good news. Well done for digging it out. I'm going to go, I promised myself I wouldn't do a negative story, but you've done a saving 29 people. I'm going to quickly move on to losing a whole family, 3 generation.
Yes.
Have you guys heard about this incident in
Is that the one
Canada?
in Canada?
In Canada.
I think everyone's heard about it.
No, I beg to differ with you, but not everyone's heard about it. My friend, yesterday, I intentionally went looking for it. I knew about it,
Yeah.
but I went looking for it on media, in the news channels and so on. I did not find it.
Really?
I didn't even find it when I was looking. I had to dig deep, 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 deep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame because grandfather, grandmother, mother, father, the only surviving child is a child, 9-year-old child. They were hit by a car intentionally and mowed down and killed. So sad to hear this. It's irrespective of what the race and religion is, but this is a Muslim family intentionally targeted. I'm not making this up. I'm not making my own story. This is publicly admitted and so on. But and the guy who killed them, how old was he?
It's 20 years old.
20 years old. Where did he get this hatred and so on?
No idea.
He wasn't born with it. It's instilled in him through.
Yeah.
How do you think? I mean, where do you guys pick up your brainwaves and so on at this age and so on? Yeah, sorry, you have got a microphone in front
I
of
think sometimes it's very like social media driven, and what people see every day. Like sometimes in like we wouldn't be influenced by a movie.
Yeah.
We'd watch it and enjoy it, for example. But someone else would watch something or be easily influenced by these things.
Yeah.
And they just fully change their belief system and go out and commit these kind of crimes.
It's horrendous, man. But the saddest part for me was there is no recognition of it. It's like, as I said, had it been the name, the perpetrator, had it been Ahmed or Muhammad or anything Islamic, or if they had dug out some link, 3 generations ago, his grandfather was a revet or something like that, we would have been blamed as Muslim. The whole community, whole world would have had to apologize. The whole Muslim world would have had to apologize for this. Yet here we go. We've lost this amazing people. And you know what? These people had really good characters and so on. The ones that were killed, they're professionals. One was studying to do a PhD. The other was working. So you can't say, oh, these were just this and this. Anyway, sorry, I do apologize for bringing the tone down to the sad, but it had to be said. Saving lives matters to us and so on. At the other end, losing life obviously is very, very devastating.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us something else that's a bit more of a good news.
Something more good news. Okay, so I'm gonna steal one of yours in a way. 'Cause I thought this was really cool.
Go on then.
This was about the police actually doing their job, and they caught a tiger poacher.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one. I was reading it actually when you sent it over, and I was like, oh, that is cool. So the funny thing is, the poacher's name is nicknamed Tiger Habib, which is really funny. But the police have been chasing him for years and years and years, and they've never been able to catch him. But they finally got him. He's been on the run for 20 years apparently, and he's hunting and killed like dozens of Bengal tigers. And as you know, like you were talking about it earlier, Riaz, about animals, preservation of animals.
Yeah.
And obviously that is we need to do that as well. So preservation of any life really is important to us. And yeah, endangered animals like Bengal tigers, who are majestic and beautiful. I don't know what these people think when they're hunting them down. I mean, for protection it's different, but yeah, there's only like 114 left in sort of the Sundarbans area,
Which is the Bangladeshi side.
Yeah,
Which is where I come from, by the way. And by the way, tiger, Bengal tiger.
Yeah.
My name Numayar actually comes from the word Nimir, baby tiger.
Oh wow.
That's not the reason I brought the story up.
Some trivia there.
Trivia. But you're right, they are amazing. I actually went to this place called Sundarban.
Yep.
As you know, I do tourism and so on. I went to check it out. And this is a restricted area. You have to go with a guide and so on. So there was this very elderly chap with a gun that may have come from 1912. I don't know, the gun didn't make me feel that. So, but anyway, I didn't realize the reason why we needed to have a gun with us. But he explained, he goes, look, tigers, they are out here, even if it's 110, 112, at that time it was 114. It dwindled down from 2,000 something within a period of 14 or 15 years. They're steadily, slowly coming back in their numbers. So I was walking, it was very, very humid, and so I had my rucksack and so on. And we have walkways. We came off the walkways. I said, what would you do? What did you do? So I asked him, have you ever been approached by a tiger or anything? He said, yeah, I have. I saw one. I turned around and walked, run away. And that's a normal thing to do, right? You don't want to face it. You don't want to encounter it and so on.
Yeah.
So I thought, how not very brave. I actually was putting the poor chap down. So when we got off the track, and I looked on the ground, I said, "What's that?" What he was pointing to? He goes, "It was a paw print." The paw print. I mean, my hand's pretty big, guys. It was bigger than my hand. When I saw that paw print, one paw print, I didn't see a tiger. All right, bear that in mind. I said, you know what, guys, should we just get back to the safety of the track? And I realized why. These are majestic animals.
Yeah, majestic.
We don't need to tangle with them. We don't need to be wrestling with them and so on. There's only a few left in the wild and so on. So it's nice whenever I hear that someone wants to do something about conserving them and so on, so our future generation can see them, or at least see them. Now it's a recorded version. I don't expect people to go out there and start hunting them and so on. But yeah, learn about them. How can you learn about something if you can't see it? It's like dinosaurs and so on are interesting, but imagine if they were in real, they were alive and so on. How hard the museums work in order to bring them to life.
Yeah.
But we don't want that to happen to any of the animals and so on. So
no, of course. I mean, I just read recently that I think the white rhino is endangered. There's like, only a few left now, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, wow, like rhinos are just like growing up. Just rhinos are normal. Like you always see rhinos everywhere, and then you're thinking about in a few years' time they could just be gone altogether. I know there's a lot of scientists who do great work and try and preserve sort of the animals and things like that, but it's strange to think that in this day and age we still can have animals on the brink of extinction. It's really weird. Like I get back in the day, there might have been hunted for food. Like we know about the dodo, how that was obviously made extinct through hunting and stuff. But I'm not the best survival skills, but yeah, you're looking at animals and you're thinking, how are we letting this happen? It's really strange. We just do not look after our planet, and it's not good.
It's greed.
And,
greed. And why did this guy hunt all these tigers? Just so that he could sell the skin, the bones, and even the meat. They would dry the meat of the tiger and so on. It's seen as what we might find repulsive to eat, tiger meat and so on, is aphrodisiac in another country, or is this potent thing and so on. It's quite sad, He kills the tiger and he then passes it on, and it multiplies in value as it gets to his destination and so on. And this guy, what did you call him? Tiger Habib?
Tiger Habib, yeah.
Tiger Habib. He was no Habibi.
Ironic, yeah, ironic. Yeah.
But he actually brought fear to the villagers and so on. That's the reason they couldn't really capture him. Wherever he traveled through and so on, he threatened to kill them, etc., if they reported him to the police. But yeah, it's good news. I mean, they caught him finally.
Yep.
So at least some tigers can rest easy and so on. I'm sure they got the good news newspaper going there. All right, bad boy Habib has been caught. Okay, no more wrestling with him.
So we're talking about obviously saving the planet and looking after animals and things, and it brings us really nicely onto our next piece of good news. So Azad, you've been really quiet. My fault, because I'm hogging the mic. So one of the questions I was going to ask, so the coronavirus pandemic, obviously we've seen loads of like good things come from the environment, so pollution has lowered, we've seen loads of things have happening. But one thing that has happened, and I'm sure you noticed, is the face masks. People have started littering. Is that something you noticed?
I have noticed that indeed, actually. I see it everywhere, especially when I'm walking around. Even sometimes when I'm driving around, I see it. I think it's just human nature for some people. Some people have it in them they know better, so they know, okay, let's hold on to it and let's go litter. Let's wait and put it into the right rubbish bin that we need to. Yeah. And some people don't think before they act. And they're happy to just throw it out the window and just leave it there. We don't know whether a hedgehog or a fox or a cat or something's going to eat from it.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like
it's a beautiful point what he's just pointed out. I mean, he's brought it right down to our doorstep. You're right, hedgehogs, cat and so on. We're talking about big animals, rhinos and so on, but we can affect these things so easily.
Definitely.
With a mask, it could get wrapped around his nose, whatever, a lot of different ways. Sorry, man, why you bring up this thing about masks?
So the reason
you don't wear one, do you?
Is that there are companies making face masks that turn into plants. So as you know, they become their day-to-day sort of normal day-to-day life now. Masks are just normal. Everyone wearing them. I remember before when I used to be like, when you go to London and you see few people from sort of Far East wearing masks, and you're thinking, obviously they had to deal with SARS back in the day, so they were well ahead of the time. They understood what they needed to do. You always kind of think, they're wearing masks, that's a bit strange. But now it's just normal day-to-day things. But yeah, as we know, they contain, so all these masks that we have, that we're so desperate for this PPE equipment, they contain like sort of harmful plastics that can pollute water, harm wildlife, like you said, Azad. But imagine having a throwaway disposable face mask that kind of like is biodegradable or can turn into plants or actually help the environment. That's what some companies have done, and it's a Netherlands-based designer, Marianne de Groot Pons, has created masks from rice paper and filled them with flower seeds. So when you throw them away into the mud, they kind of like they'll grow plants. They're biodegradable. So after using them, they can be buried in the ground, and seeds will have a chance to grow and bloom. So I thought it was really cool, like really good, novel way to kind of tackle this problem that we're having with the face masks.
Yeah, I've been noticing masks, especially since the first turning of COVID-19 and so on. Everywhere you go along, when you're driving, you notice outside along the lovely green bushes and so on, you have along the road, at the bottom of it, you just got a black mask, a blue mask, you got masks of all different colors.
Yeah.
I think, why do we actually physically, I haven't seen anyone rip it off their face and throw it, but I guess that's what they must do. They must just say, okay, they don't even think. I guess, I'm giving it too much thought. But I've always been brought up not to throw things willy-nilly and so on. We've got dustbin. Now in our house, we have the recycling bin, we have the normal bin, and we have a composting bin. And the actual bin that where you put all your rubbish in and so on, hardly has anything to go in there now.
Yep.
And it's not that difficult. And this is where you guys, the younger generation, have to really push it even harder. Was even my generation and my my dad and my mom, they didn't really understand about recycling and so on. They weren't really taught. But so we messed it up quite a bit for you guys. But you guys need to push it forward and get the word out there, get the younger generation to just do that very simple thing as just put your rubbish in your pocket, put your rubbish in the bin. It's not that difficult. It's your world, you're going to inherit it. I'll be gone long before you, most probably, according to statistics, according to, numbers.
Definitely. And just to add to that as well, sorry to interrupt.
No.
But, it also comes down to your characteristic in Islam as well.
Mm-hmm.
It shows your manners, your mannerism, how you treat the planet.
That's right.
And your character that you hold, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely spot on. Looking after the earth, it said that the ard, which is quite interesting, the Arabic word ard is for earth.
Yeah.
Is Allah's blessed us, given that to us and so on. So we are the keeper of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? Just burn it to cinders? Let me not say the rest of the word. for burgers. He guys loves a burger.
Yeah, I do.
He likes a triple burger. Look at his smile.
Might go for one after this.
I said, we're down for that, yeah? We'll follow him.
Yeah, we'll follow together.
Imran's gone veggie burger, so it's all right. He's never to get him anything. Just give him some chips. But no, look, we're destroying the world, our earth and so on our own doorstep right now with masks and so on. And so many other things. So I like the fact that you guys have got this hat that you put on your head and said, we're going to try to bring consciousness about the world, whether it's about poverty, whether it's about injustice, or it's about the fact loss of animals' life or the environment through this simple thing,
We're going to be getting some biodegradable Neighbours in Paradise T-shirts. Is that what's happening? Yeah,
we actually try to. Sorry to interrupt you. We actually try to. We're going to push on to using organic cotton as well with our T-shirts.
Oh, wow, okay.
So the people that are actually making the T-shirts in other countries, or they're actually being paid properly.
Now there you go.
Treated right.
These are the things that we fall short on. I'll be honest with you. Within the Muslim charity sector, there are great people working in the environment as well, in that industry. But generally, the first thing we do, we look at disposable clothes and so on. We live in a disposable society. We buy T-shirts and so on that might only last us 3 months rather than 3 years.
Yep.
We're like, all right, fashion changes, but you know what? You've all heard about the black dress and the dinner jacket.
Yeah, timeless.
They're timeless.
Yeah.
So buy clothes that actually will make an impact, and try not to lose your shape too quickly. Don't blame the clothes.
That is my big problem. There's some people adopt this sort of rule or mentality with their clothes called 3 in 33, and what they do every 3 months they only have 33 items of clothing.
In the wardrobe,
Yeah,
excellent.
that's all they have. So that includes their sort of gym wear, their sort of loungewear, what they'd wear to work. But it's 33 quality items, which means that they will last. They will last them. And yeah, it's really cool. Like, it takes away sort of your micro decisions, because you don't have to worry about what clothes you're wearing, because you know you've got those 33. You are spending a little bit more on less clothes, but it's of higher quality. Like I said, like, it might be organic or more better for the environment. But yeah, there's a whole movement around who do this 3 in 33 thing, and I tried it. But obviously, yeah, I failed miserably because I realised that I've got enough shoes that kind of takes that up. But
so you're on 99 then.
yeah, but I thought it was really, really cool. I thought it was a really, really, really good way to kind of clear out your wardrobe as well. And yeah, that's what kind of got it for me, because I know we probably all do this. We kind of like, sometimes we're like, oh, some clothes need to go to charity, and then we just kind of rummage through our clothes and make some charity bags and give them to charity and things like that. And
Imran, you know that charity bag?
Yeah.
What kind of clothes do you put in there?
I put.
Do you put holy clothes or?
No, so me, because I'm just put on loads of weight, they're getting some good clothes at the moment. But yeah, generally you do, like, I know people do put clothes which are unwanted, right? That's the
Should we do that?
No, we shouldn't.
Do you agree with that? Yes?
Because at the end of the day, even if it's an unwanted piece to you, someone else that will receive that T-shirt, it might be the best thing in the world.
I know, but what I'm saying is, see, what you're saying is like, I might not want it right now, but as long as it's not ripped and so on,
Yeah, people.
that's fine. We should give decent clothes, because remember, there's another human being out there. There are places where you could take your ripped clothes, which gets shredded and recycled, and again, it's an amazing industry. Recycling and all this kind of thing is such a big thing out there. If you just looking on YouTube, especially now in Ghana and in Africa and so on, amazing industry by young entrepreneurs recycling clothes. But what I'm saying is that when we give our clothes up for charity that is going to be taken and redistributed, first of all, please wash it. Number two, check that it's not, falling apart and so on, or trainers that got holes in the shoes. I mean, you're not exactly doing a good thing for them, are you? So I'm not saying you're going to buy a £99 trainers and 2 days later you're going to give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, on that point, the trainers are on average, 150 now?
Yeah, about 120, 150 to...
Ridiculous price.
Huh?
I do not buy trainers anymore.
And then you buy it, you wear it once, then you wipe it down, you put it back in a box. Is that what you boys do? Let me have a look. We're all wearing socks and so on, so we can't see what's...
They're going to inspect the shoes later. But that is what people do. People will keep them pristine in the box just to sit there. Or they'll buy... I find this a lot. They'll buy really expensive trainers and then feel like, I don't want to ruin them, so I won't wear them. That happens a lot as well.
Now, you got the other side, the flip side. Again, it's a massive industry now. Trainers. My nephew and some of his friends, they do this. They buy trainers, exclusive trainers. And I always thought it was a very niche thing.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, a lot of people are doing this.
Yeah.
They buy this very, very expensive, when I say very, we're talking about 500, 700 upward and so on. Wow. I still remember my first pair of trainers, man, Gola. 1984 or something like that. After that, it was high-tech. I was really moving up the world.
I had a pair of high-techs.
Yeah. No, you're thinking about retro high-tech. We're talking about high-tech when it first came out, my friend. Yeah, when you didn't want to be seen in anything called high-tech. And my high-tech was size 8. I do believe I was size 5 at that time. But I grew into them. Bless my dad. This is part of my uniform, man. But also, I never got mugged for my trainers, because other boys who were wearing the Nikes and the Adidas and so on, they got mugged for their trainers quite regularly nowadays. But now I think it happens less, thankfully. The values of things have gone down compared to nowadays. Okay, so coming back to we were talking about recycling and organic cotton. As you also mentioned the fact you're conscious about where your T-shirts are coming from, how it's being manufactured, if they're being paid a fair wage or not.
Yes, absolutely.
How did you come onto that?
So
what made you think of that?
I actually work in the fashion industry myself, and when we're looking into people's brands, a lot of people come to us and say we want organic cotton for these reasons. And when I started the charity, I really looked into it and thought this is the best way to do it, 100%. Because we want to help everyone, really, from the person that's sewing the T-shirt together in another country, all the way down to when it gets printed in the UK.
Yeah.
And the person donating,
yeah,
obviously, They want it just works from all corners. We want to help from start to end.
Yeah.
We want everyone to be in good hands.
No, that's good. Even packaging and so on. Delivery of our lovely online orders is amazing. Tons of packaging for one tiny thing.
Yeah, it's
You know, so yeah, be conscious. I'm really glad to hear this, that you boys are being conscious. On artistic side, obviously I love your artistic things, but mentioning this, what you just said now, again, great. May it go from strength to strength. May not just be your, I don't know what your full conception is, but initially, if someone listens to you, they'll think, oh, you're just doing this just for now. Maybe some long-standing brand that becomes synonymous with good quality material, good quality work, ethos and everything behind it and so on.
Inshallah, the goal is to try and keep up with the big brands everyone loves,
Yeah,
but as a charity brand.
yeah.
So anything that the bigger brands are releasing, I believe in my talent that much where I feel like I can create something for charity that can sit with the big brands and people will take to it. And it has, I like to story tell through the designs as well.
Okay.
So that's why everyone took to it a lot. Because I had one lady DM us saying, she has a 6-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter, and she's been trying so hard to explain what's been happening in Palestine and stuff. And she said she looked at my piece of art and thought, she just said it explained everything so perfectly, and I didn't have to speak to them. I just told them to look at this T-shirt, and they understood it straight away. And that's a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old girl.
Well, if you can get through to them that easily with your image, and
Yeah.
it's very easy as well to understand from what you've done. It's very easy for me to draw it up in my mind right now. You've got the map of Palestine, you've got the barbed wire, you've got rose,
The roses to represent the love.
and
country.
you've got the colours of the Palestinian flag.
Yeah, Palestinian
Yeah,
flag.
so
With the white birds to represent freedom.
Yeah,
You've got the golden rose, right?
That's right.
Yeah, also in the Holy Land we've put a golden rose in that area to also show people where the Holy Land is.
wow. See, all of these
So it
things.
tells a full story.
Yeah, it does
But
indeed.
hopefully we want to try carry this concept on through all of our projects.
Inshallah, you will do.
Inshallah.
I'm listening to you, Imran. Sorry, mate. I know you're still young. I'm listening to you. I'm looking at you guys. I was over there as well. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these are guys not doctors or dentists. They've actually gone down this weird route of art and graphics. What's wrong with this? Asian boys don't do this. They don't, the pansy things about art and drawing and so on. Oh my lord. Anyway, tell me, what's the reason? Why did he go down there? What, you didn't like maths? You didn't like science?
Yeah, so me and the brothers, we've always been into charity work. We've always been the big-hearted brothers to help people, always. And we thought, like, how can we do something very unique and passionate to us to help the world? And we thought this is the only way. Because we've actually been doing fashion for maybe 10 years now.
Wow, yeah.
And a lot of the things I've designed in the past 10 years hasn't really helped anyone. So now I thought to myself, let's start helping people now. Because now we're at mature age and it's the perfect time to do it. And inshallah we can inspire the youth as well.
Yeah. This is it. You've got your why and you've actioned it. And a lot of people, including myself, it took me a long time to understand whether it's changing myself physically or financially or mentally. If we don't have a reason, a solid reason, we'll never make that change. I always say, oh gosh, come Ramadan, remember we discussed this a couple of shows back, come Ramadan, we try our best to improve our Quran and so on. Come January the 1st, people go on this amazing diets and regimes and so on. But a lot of us don't stick to it because we actually don't have a solid why. Why are we doing this?
Definitely.
So it's good. I like your why you're doing this. You come to this and you're moving forward with it. Excellent stuff, guys. I look forward to all the future products and so on that you do. So we know we can get hold of you on Instagram mainly, isn't it?
Yeah, Instagram at Neighbours in Paradise.
Neighbours in
And it's
Paradise. As in like the Australian show, Neighbours.
He's gonna start singing in a minute.
No, man. When I start singing Kylie Minogue songs and all that kind of thing, you won't even know these guys, all right? But this is quite old.
I know who that is.
Neighbours is to come out at 5:30, I think, in the afternoon after school. No, BBC One, man. That was Home and Away
Home and Away.
on Channel
Oh my
5.
God, I get it
Yeah,
right.
back to back. No, that was only for the people that was sad enough to run home without wanting to play football or stay for table tennis or anything like that to watch Neighbours. It's just so not. Marge, Jason, sorry, I don't know any of these names. I don't know where these names are popping up from.
He's acting like he doesn't, but yeah, we know the truth.
Right, listen, I did put it out on the Facebook today that if anyone from between this show and the next show, which is in fortnight's time, whoever can send some local news. Oh, I really want some local news. So, sorry, apologies. I'm always referring to one person, which is to my right, and I'm blocked off to the other
Azad
brother.
here, yeah.
Others over there hiding behind screens and so on, unfortunately. But I think you can actually see him on the screen on Facebook and so on. Riaz, he can't, so we'll have to stick Riaz's face on there somehow. Okay. So this is local good news. I really want more local good news. As I said, whether someone's just got married, someone just finished their HIVs, someone's done something amazing, got a new job. So this is what I really want to hear about. This is what Imran and I want to hear and promote on our Good News Show.
Yes.
So I want people to get in touch with us. You know, you can get in touch with us directly on our personal telephone numbers. You know Imran. If you know Imran, you know Imran. If you know Numayar, you know Numayar. And if you don't, where you been living? And no, that's wrong. I'm just being narcissistic here. Now, you can get hold of Radio Sierra and just drop us a message to say, this is a story I have. Leave your name and a contact number. The best story that we read out next week, I've been given some beautiful, by a beautiful brother, Haroon, from Johnny Custard.
Mm-hmm.
I love that name, Johnny Custard. All right. Johnny Custard, amazing dessert place. In fact, I had milkshake from there. Well, the kids did. I had one sip. I'm being very, very controlling over myself now. Okay. So we've got vouchers from there to give to the best story that comes, that gets read out on the radio next week. So inshallah, you guys will come forward. I don't care what the news, as long as happy, good news. Okay, just tell us your story, or a good story that you know that relates to you, and some of this from Leicester, London, I don't care, UK, Kenya, Malawi. Just tell us some good news that we can share with the public. So that's the way we're going to go forward with giving a reward to someone who gives us some really good news and so on. Imran, what else have you got? Because I've got my final story, which I'm going to bring up in a few minutes.
I've got some cool. So based on that, so I'll tell you, this is a kind of a good personal good news story. So 2 weeks ago, I went to city centre to protest for what's happening in Palestine, as everyone knows. I was just kind of sitting with my son, and we were just taking in the atmosphere and listening to the speeches. And there was a man, right? And he was handing out leaflets. So he came over to me, and I actually had some of the same leaflets I need to hand out. So he's like, "Oh, you know what? You're with your son, and I'll hand them out for you." I was like, "Amazing, thank you." And it was about some. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could talk about the leaflet later. But anyway, so this guy, he was going around all these people, giving these leaflets out. He had a massive list. And then he came back. I was like, "Oh, alhamdulillah, thank you for handing out all these leaflets, right? It was really, really good of you." And then he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, thank you, uncle." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "I've never experienced this before, right?" He's like, "Thank you, uncle." And this kid, he's like, he looks like he in his mid-20s, late that he's 15 years old. He was 15 years old and he was doing this, right? So anyway, so since then I got really to it. I was really fascinated. I was like, "Oh, you're only 15, wow!" And then I added him on Instagram, and then I saw him later at another protest and stuff. But anyway, 15 years old, he's actually started his own food business, which is alhamdulillah insane. He you know how you got little kids who talk the talk, but they won't walk the walk. He's like, "I'm going to start a food business. I promise I'm going to start it. I'm going to do this. Like, thank you. I'm going to do this. Please support me." He sent me a message last week. Said this is the name of the business called Razi's. So Razi's food. It's kind of, I think it's like Pakistani food, Pakistani takeaway food. It's called Razi's, and they do like burgers and chips and stuff. And today he came over just before this and handed me a box of his first sort of food that he's as a taste test. And I was like, alhamdulillah, that's amazing. You actually followed through with what he said. So yeah, I just want to shout out Razi's food. He's got an Instagram, Razi_LC. There's nothing on there. It's not open yet. I'm probably the first person who's actually shouted it out anywhere. But yeah, just 15-year-old, just, his mum helped him, and he's actually doing it. And I was just really impressed by the young man. So yeah, alhamdulillah.
Wish him all the success.
That's him. Yeah, wish you all the success.
Anyone who pushes through with anything they have, any kind of, what was the very first idea that you had? You guys, let's start with the man to the right first. Do you remember when you was young, was there some ideas that you came up with in your head?
Ideas.
Oh, the first business idea. My first business idea actually was fashion.
Fashion.
yeah, so I just went ahead with it literally the whole way, and now I am where I am today.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
you really were passionate about it from an early
Yeah,
age
I
or
didn't
so?
want to think of anything else. I've always been creative. Like, if you ask my brother, I've always been drawing. I used to
Yes.
draw like cartoons. I used to spend all my times drawing, and
Yeah.
later
Yeah.
on I started liking my clothes and stuff.
Okay.
And then I just really got into fashion, and I told myself I want to start a clothing line. And I started a clothing line. I did my own research, made my own. I met the right people to lead me down the right path, and it all worked out in the end.
Excellent. Has it?
Yeah.
What did you have as your first kind of like brain wave to say, okay, I'm going to try this?
I'll be honest with you, from young, it never really hit me until I hit, say, about my early 20s. And after that, I had a few ideas which, it goes, I don't want to say too much about them
That's
because
cool. Top secret.
they're still in the pipeline, but
Okay.
it's something along the lines of an app,
Okay.
something along the lines of a dessert sort of shop. And yeah, that's about it really. I mean,
But you're actioning them, yeah?
yeah, slowly.
Okay,
I mean,
okay, no, that's good. Okay,
there's,
that's
there's
good.
only so much you can get done by yourself, and in the time frame that we have as well.
That's right.
You do, yeah, you do need support.
Yeah, you need supportive people around. So Qasim, I would shout out his mum as well, who's really
Yeah.
supportive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is the thing. I find some of the younger generation, including my own son and so on, they find it difficult to voice their desire to do whatever they want to do and so on because they don't think they're going to be supported. But I've always been insistent in the house, if you have an idea, you want to do something, just go for it. I'll support it in whatever way I can. And there's a lot of people that have excellent ideas. They just don't have someone to back them. And I don't mean with £1 million or 100,000 or whatever. If you just give the right encouragement, and whenever I generally have this 15 and 16-year-olds somehow finding out about me and coming to me and so on and saying, Uncle, I've just finished my GCSE, what job can I get, where can I go and so on. I can't give them a job. I don't have 15 jobs and so on. What I do is I take their name and their address and their detail, and I pass it on to my network of friends that are in the business industry and so on. I say, look, give this guy a job, or if you have a vacancy, or help him, this is what he wants to do and so on. And that's what I do, and that's what we should do. We should encourage. If someone came to me now and said they want to get into the clothes line or fashion industry, or they want to see a little bit about it, I want to mention you guys.
You
I'll
can
say,
send them to me.
yeah, I'll say, look, go on, at least have a conversation. Even a WhatsApp or an Instagram conversation is something. You know what? Don't shun the younger generation and so on, or even the older generation. There are older people in their 40s and 50s. Some of the best entrepreneurs actually they start quite late because they've worked 9 to 5 all their life. They're frustrated, they're stressed, and they've not really got what they wanted in their life and so on. So when they go for a new venture and so on, adventure in their late 40s, they're scared. I know the feeling. They're very, very scared. But if you give them a helping hand or support and so on, encouragement, they can go a lot further faster because they've got experience on their side.
Yes.
So
it's also a lot easier to start a business these days
yeah.
because everything's in front of us. If you have a business idea, all you have to do is type it onto Google, and there will be a way, or someone will be out there to tell you how to start it.
Yeah. I agree
Even
with
with through lockdown and stuff over the last 1.5 years, so many people have started their own businesses
True.
because they've had the free time.
And it's been amazing, innovative ones from home and so on. That's just
So there's a lot of home.
And you think, why
home
didn't I
food.
think of that?
Yeah.
I've had some of the most amazing food over the past year because of it. Like people. are just-
We can see that. He's been tasting everything that's been delivered. Come on, Imran.
Look at the camera's just showing my face.
Still looking handsome and so on. But listen, we don't have much time. We've gone straight through today. We've got a couple of more minutes. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Azad and Riaz for Imran for bringing them in as well to our show. So it's really nice to have a few extra guests and so on. And so if people just listen to our voice monotonously, they could hear different voices. My last story, Imran, is going to be about Palestine.
Okay.
All right. The reason I bring this up, I've seen this myself. I was there for one Eid al-Adha,
Oh yes, yeah.
and I noticed that during Eid al-Adha in Masjid al-Aqsa, they brought in very colourful clowns with multicolored hair, multicolored clothes and so on to
Yeah.
entertain the children. Okay, now these children haven't got much in the way of what we've got. We've got PlayStation, this, that, etc., left, right, center. So, and they were handing out toys, balloons, doing balloon works and so on. Amazing. The kids were loving it and so on. But I realized not everybody likes clowns. Imran, what's your opinion on clowns?
Everybody likes clowns. So I know a few people who are like terrified of clowns. We discussed it between us, and he was talking about the movie It, and he's like, yeah,
That's scary.
I just don't like clowns. But yeah, in Masjid Al-Aqsa, the people come and they entertain the kids, and it's an amazing sight actually. You can see videos online, and yeah, we've got some sort of first-hand videos as well. You can see. But yeah, there's a lot of people who don't like clowns. There's a lot of, obviously, religious contention behind clowns as well, if you want to go that route. But the main thing is that the children are happy and smiling. That's the most amazing thing. And they do it consistently. They're there every Eid, right? They're always there. Like,
Yeah, any time they can. I mean, this was obviously a very big thing, Eid and post-Eid, after the bombing and the killing and so on came to an end. They entertained the children and so on, just tried to bring a bit of happiness to them. But very quickly, in the last 2 minutes of the show, there is actually a company that's training clowns to go out to devastated areas and so on to try to bring a smile to the children's face, because they've mentally been going through war, like Syria, Yemen, and so on.
Yeah.
Even other countries, or even if you have a, for example, you have a natural disaster or flood or something like that. So these clowns actually, I mean, I use the word clown. We tend to think of, silly, idiotic people. No, these are people who are trying to entertain that person, to bring a smile to their face and so on. Most of us remember clowns as the one that does that, and obviously there is a horrific side of scary clowns that we've seen on social media. Actually,
I actually seen like a really good video that it's not about the clown, don't worry about the outfit, but I seen a video yesterday of a guy who was in Palestine, and he was going around giving kids footballs.
Yeah.
He was giving them party hats,
That's it.
whistles, and it was just amazing to see that. And the happiness on the children's faces is just like really touched my heart, because it doesn't have to be a clown, like, but you can.
I know.
Yeah, the balloons, and when I seen that video, it was amazing.
Sharing out, something nice, just giving it from your heart and so on.
Yeah.
Kids do appreciate it. Even adults appreciate it. In fact, we know for a fact it happens in the Middle East quite a bit, but in Masjid Al-Aqsa, because you guys will experience this, when you finish your salah, you're going to be suddenly hit with a little eclair sweet or something like that, or hard candy. It's because there's some old uncle going by giving sweets to the individuals, but he just doesn't have the time to give it to the general. He just gives it to them. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, that's what we
Right? But it's nice. I actually enjoy it. I put it in my pocket. I eat it and so on. And we also put some sweets at the doorstep of the masjid.
Yeah.
If you put dates, whatever you put, it goes very quickly. Imran, I hate to say this to my friend. We are coming up to 8 o'clock on my watch.
Wow.
Might not be accurate, but you've got the main time out there. We've got the news coming up. So
Yes, we
people
do.
out there, you've been listening to us on Radio Sierra, 1575 AM. This is Imran, and this is Numayar with my co-host Imran. So it's been an amazing show today, talking to these young brothers and so on, and picking up some good stories around the world, from tigers to clowns.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a clown that's dressed up as a tiger, or a tiger dressed up as a clown? Okay, let me not get too
They're
distracted.
in a circus together.
They're in a circus. Well, I knew there was a connection.
There's always a connection.
There's always a connection.
But just on that, clowns, it's called Clowns Without Borders. You know how Doctors Without Borders?
That's right,
They've got
that's
Clowns
right,
Without
that's
Borders.
right.
So if you want to Google them, just, definitely do that.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Now, I'm going to give my salam first and foremost. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone listening out there, and whoever does listen to us in the future, please do tune in every Wednesday, not every Wednesday, every second Wednesday. So we'll be back on radio in 2 weeks' time on Radio Sierra, 1575. This is our community radio. This is what we do this for our community. It's a community program for the community. So I want you guys to get in touch with us to tell us your good news. Imran, over to you, my friend. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yeah, thank you again for listening. Just 2 calls to action. Number 1, if you can't listen now, on Radio Sierra, the videos are preloaded, so you can watch them, or uploaded, so you can watch them in your own time. And the other thing as well I've been asked is that it's a community radio, like Numayar said. So if you want to be a presenter, or if you've got something you want to say, please reach out to Radio Sierra as well. They will they'll accommodate you and maybe find your slot, and you could be the next big radio presenter as well. So thank you. And then finally, I just want to pass over to Azad and Riaz, who could just sign us off today from the Good News Show.
Just a big thank you to Brother Numayar and Brother Imran for having us today.
Our pleasure.
It's been really interesting coming on the radio first time, and hopefully we get some more time to spend on radio as well, inshallah.
Now that you said the
Thank you
first
for
time,
this
definitely.
opportunity. It means a lot.
No worries, no worries.
Anytime. All right, Salaam